Hello, everyone. I am Bogdan. I am your guest for the podcast. Here today I have Jakob. I think he's a very interesting guest. So, without further ado, I let him just present himself and his company. So, hello, Jakob. Please tell us something about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Jakob. I live in Denmark. I have the ownership of the company called Lejeinfo, which is a SaaS solution for companies that rent stuff out, or companies that has to know where their stuff are. And yeah, that's the whole idea of what we are doing, is trying to help people who rent out stuff with having everything in one system.
Okay, that's very interesting. Regarding the app or the solution, what's the story behind it?
The story is I actually had another company, a tech company, who was in sharing economy. We tried to build a platform where private people could rent out stuff to each other instead of going out and buying everything. But what we found out was that there was a lot of companies who rented their stuff out, but they didn't have the system or the control of where the product was. They tried to use Excel or a sheet of some kind, or just a physical calendar to manage all of their rentings. And in the beginning, when my employees came and said, we have some companies who ask for this, I was like, no, that's not something that we do. But after a period, I could see that the amount of companies who needed a system like this was pretty big, and that was the reason why we founded Lejeinfo.
That's interesting. So, you basically saw a need and then you came up with the product, right?
Exactly. And then we had a lot of meetings with companies who rent out stuff to ask them, what is it exactly that you need? And then we tried to build a 1.0 solution, an MVP, to see, okay, are we the right way? And then we had the companies, they helped us building the product so that all the things that they needed was in the product. We didn't try to come up with something new. We tried to talk with them and ask them, how are you doing the stuff today? What are the structure when somebody is renting something from you? And then we try to build a system to their needs.
Okay, that's interesting. So, you basically build the app based on their feedback.
Exactly. And what we did was we built it as not as an app, but as a page, a homepage where you can get on it no matter where you are, and no matter if you have forgotten your phone or your computer or something like that, it's always possible for you to get into the system. So you can be in Denmark watching, okay, now we got a renting. Do we have the products home? You can do that in Denmark, or you can sit in Bahamas and do the same. And that was very important for us, that the owners of the companies has the access to the system all the time and no matter where they are.
Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, a little bit of flexibility there. I mean, a lot of flexibility there. But regarding the feedback that you've collected, did you notice any trends in the renting industry or in the SaaS industry?
And when you say trends, what do you exactly mean by that?
By trends, I mean things that people usually tend to do all together. So someone does one thing, it works, and people start to copying it and putting their own twist on it. So, for example, a trend in our business, it's AI automation. This is a trend in our business.
Yeah, you can say AI is for every business. That's a new trend for everyone.
Yeah.
To be totally honest, it's not something that we are much focusing on right now. It probably will come in the future, but the trends from within our own segment is that a lot of the renting companies are old school. So when you want to rent something, you give them a call or you send them an email. But what new trend is for them, that they want to get the bookings online, because everyone knows that if you have a customer visiting your homepage, you have to have some kind of call to action where the visitor of the homepage can do something, not only give them a phone number or send an email. No, you want to, as a customer, to build your own, what do you call it, basket. So you go in and say, okay, this is what I want, and then send the requirement to the owner of the company. So everything will be done automatically and without actually the communication with the owner and the renter. They can do it all online, and that's why we also built something that they can either put on their homepage, or they can use the page that we made as their own homepage to get the visitors in, and get them to book online. What we then do is we connect the site with their user online info, so all their products will be exposed on the page. And that means that they don't have to get in contact with a developer or something like that to change something. They can do it everything by themselves. And that's a trend that we look into and said, okay, we know that everyone goes online, especially when you want to shop. It should be the same with renting, that you can go in, do the stuff that you want to do, rent the stuff that you want to do, send the inquiry, and make it as easy as possible for the owner of the company to check and see if the products that the visitor asks for is available for renting out.
So basically, in a world with digitalization, I believe, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is that everybody says that they are digital and has, let's just say, a homepage. A homepage is one thing. Then connecting the dots for making everything as smooth as possible, both for the visitor and the owner of the renting company, is something not built yet.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so right now, the next question would be, what is happening in the market that's making the landscape more challenging or more easier for you to operate your business?
That's a good question. We have in Denmark, we have a lot of legislation about CO2, and we actually don't know where it's gonna land, but we know that there are gonna come something in that matter, that we have to help the companies by making some kind of calculation of their footprint when they buy their products or renting them out. And that's something that we are looking into right now. Besides that, it's also in Denmark, we have very strict rules about alcohol, and yeah, and that's something that we also are looking into, because in Denmark it's made illegal to send a requirement of wanting to buy alcohol, not even a booking where you use your card, just a requirement to ask, do you have the alcohol? Then you
Okay.
have to use your, in Denmark it's called MitID, to verify your age online also.
Okay.
And that's a new one in Denmark, that we have to do that, and they're very strict about it. And if you don't do it, then you get fined a lot of money.
Okay. So are you looking to implement this I don't know, CO2 usage or
We we
helping
have we
companies
have
with a
already
footprint?
implemented the one with the age, that we can verify the age,
Okay.
and we are looking into, actually right now we are building a big dashboard for our system, and within that dashboard we will, maybe not now but in the future, we will help them by telling them about the common footprint.
Okay, that's interesting. But in your opinion, what does your competitive landscape looks like? Do you have any competitors? Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have a big one or a couple of small ones.
We have a couple of small ones in Denmark, where we are from, and that's our core market at the moment. And then we have some big players outside of Denmark, very big players. But I think that what we are building is a little bit different from both the small ones and the big ones, because we want to make a system that helps the customer from the beginning to the end. Also,
Yeah.
because in Denmark we have, again, legislation about invoices. Everything has to be done digitally and in a system that's accepted by the Danish government. And that's what we are trying to help them with, is take the customer in, help them with making a basket, verify their age, get it into a system where they don't need to do anything. They just have to look and see, okay, what is the availability, and when they want to make an invoice, they can easily make an invoice in the system that they have chosen to use. So a lot of our competitors are focusing on just helping them with managing their products, but we try to help them with the whole pipeline, if you say so.
Okay, that's interesting. Now regarding the marketing side, so everyone knows marketing is very important, especially for service-based businesses or SaaS businesses. So the first question here would be, how do people find about your solution?
Actually, right now it's a lot of mouth to mouth, people talking, because we are also using money on advertising, but it's very difficult to put a segment on these companies that we go after, because we are not selling socks as an example, because everybody use socks or underwear or something like that. But we have a product that's suited for, what you call it, a certain amount of people, and they are very hard to find online. But
Okay.
we are trying to use Facebook to see if we can get something in that way.
Okay, so it's basically mouth to mouth and some Facebook ads.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay. So basically, you're telling me that it's very hard to find your ideal ICP, your ideal customer online.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay.
Because let's just say Facebook or Google, they don't have the segment all the way down to what we are looking for. So we
Yeah.
have to shoot out and see, okay, can we get some kind of attention at the right places and see if we can get customers in online.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
actually also doing some, and that's a step back. We are actually doing something in a couple of newspapers also, because the segment
Okay.
that we go after are reading these papers. So we try to see if we can get the customers in that way also. But it's a step back from digital, which
Yeah.
we have always been looking at as the future. But this segment is very hard to find, so we have to get in communication with them in other ways than we actually wanted to.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that your product is or your service is around digitalization and you're marketing yourself in a newspaper. But
Yeah,
if it works, it works. Like it doesn't matter, right?
exactly. But it's also because when we made the company, we were try to make the ideal customer, and the ideal customer for this segment right now, they are not using a lot of time online.
Okay.
One, because they are very busy, and two, because a lot of them are not, it's not young people, it's more elderly people from, let's just say, 35 or 40 and up
Okay.
to 60, 70 years old. So
Mhm.
we have to communicate with them in other ways, and we have to be relevant in other ways. Let's just take the newspaper that we are in. It's a newspaper only for the segment to get. So when they are looking these papers through, everything has to do with the company that they got. It's not a newspaper where you can read all news from other
Oh,
cities or other countries. It's regarding only that segment.
okay, that's interesting. I've never heard it in the last couple of days, couple of
Nope.
months actually. Someone advertising in the newspaper, but if it works, it works. This is all that
I
matters.
agree. And again, it's something that we are trying to test, because we try to test a lot, making split test also within Facebook to see, okay, can we do something to get them online? Because like every other SaaS company, we would like to know our CAC and our LTV and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now again, regarding to the marketing part, how easy it is for you to attract and retain high quality marketing team members, if you have any marketing team members?
We don't have any marketing team members at the moment, because we actually chose to outsource it from the company. And the
Okay.
reason for that is actually the question that you ask, how difficult is it? It is very difficult. There's a lot of people who says that they can and that they are very experienced and stuff like that. But for me, when you talk something, you have it in your mouth, you also have it to show. You have to,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people talking, and not a lot of them who actually can fulfill what they are talking about.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Because
right. In the market.
one thing is to make a, let's just say, an ad on Facebook. I can actually do that, but making a split test and get the right results, that's very difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand. I really think that you're right that people say that they can do things, especially in our niche that we work in, and they're then not delivering. So yeah,
Exactly.
it's
And
a
then
sad reality,
and the problem
unfortunately.
is that you can get a team member that does it like that, but you can also go to a firm that says that they are specialists in everything within online marketing, and they can't show anything at all. You just use a lot of money, and that's good for them, but you don't get anything in return. And that's not how
Yeah, exactly.
a corporation is for me. Both paths, of course, they has to be
Yeah,
paid, but they have to show some kind of revenue or lead stream to us.
yeah, of course, that's right. So you're basically right now collaborating with a firm on the marketing side.
A
You don't
small
have any
company from
employees.
outside. Yeah, exactly. And then we have made an agreement on how, when they send us a lead that we think is qualified, then they get paid.
So pay per lead, basically.
Sorry?
So pay per lead, you
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
That's interesting. Okay, right
Because
now let's talk about.
that to me is also them going in and putting their hand on everything, instead of just saying, okay, give us money and then we will try to do it. Because that I don't like that idea. You have to show something before you get paid. That's the way I work.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, right now let's talk about the current state. So first of all, what are you responsible for, and how are you currently spending your day?
Wow, that's a good question. When you have a company like this, we're not big, but then you have everything from economic to talking with developers to talking with customers, making cold calls out to see if we can get some new customers in or meetings in the calendar. So it's basically everything that you do when you have a startup company. That's what I do. So normally my day is I start out by just looking through the mails to see if everything is in order or is there something important that I have to react on. When I'm done with that, then I actually use a lot of my day to make cold calls to new customers or having meetings with potential customers. And when
Okay,
the day ends around 4 or 5, when people go home from their job, I have some time with my kids, and afterwards I go back to the office, and then I make all the administration work.
okay,
And
very
also, we have something new on the table for developing. I'm the one making the documents for telling the developers what it is we want, how we want it, and everything like that.
okay. Very hard work. You seem like a hardworking person on
I
your
think that
on your.
if you are self-employed, you are a workaholic, I could say. You have to work because 37 hours it's not enough to make a company big, and we want to be big, so we have to put in the effort to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Regarding making the company big, this was one of my next questions. What are the most important metrics for you right now?
Revenue.
Okay, revenue, other than
Revenue and
the most important one?
yeah, that's the most important one, because revenue and costs, that's something that we are looking into all the time, and getting new meetings in the book for potential customers. It's basically what we are focusing on.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, most of the people say, we want to have um more like pipeline growth, some meetings, but they all referring to usually revenue. So yeah, you're
Yeah,
directly okay, revenue. Yeah,
but when you say revenue, revenue can come from different places. From my point of view, there's a line that says meetings revenue, and that's the most important thing for a company, because if you don't have revenue, you don't have anything. And if you don't have revenue, you can't pay anyone to work for you or build something. So revenue is the top priority for me. And then looking at the costs also, because one thing is that you have the revenue, but your cost has to be in the right area with the revenue.
yeah. You know how they say the revenue is the lifeblood of any business.
Exactly. Money talks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about the current state. What about the desired state criteria? So, for example, where do you want to be in the next 6 months or 12 months with the company?
That's a good question, because in my head, when you ask a question like that, I have to talk in numbers, um, because otherwise it's just fluffy. And I don't like fluffiness. But I would say within the next 6 months, we should have around 100 to 150 customers on board using our platform. And we are on the right path now to get that one done. Also, yeah, and that's, of course, the revenue then will be a much higher place. We have done very nice this year. If we look back for the last year, 2024, and we just want to keep the pace that we are in right now. Getting the right customers is also very important for us, because some of the right customers are building the highway for us, so other companies can say, oh, this is actually a reliable company. They do what they tell. So getting the right companies and getting to around 100 companies using our model or solution.
Okay. Okay, so this is in the next 6 months, right? What about in the next 12 months?
You can just double it.
So 300, around 300 people
Around
using.
that would be nice. Everything depends on how everything is going, but we want to get in that area, because when we get that amount of customers, then we can also hire the right people, getting more salespeople in, trying to look at new markets. We are very open to looking at other markets that surround Denmark because they are doing it in the same way as the companies in Denmark does it. So yeah, that would be our focus.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. But right now, what matters more than anything to you?
Sorry?
Right now, what matters more than anything to you regarding the company?
Revenue customers.
Okay. Then we've passed the desired state criteria. Let's go into the problem criteria. So if you had the magic, this is one of my favorite questions actually. If you had the magic wand that you could wave to solve one thing, what that one thing be and why?
It would be, I would say, if I have a magic stick, a revenue of $1 billion. But I know I have to go into some more, what do you call it, something practical in our company. So I would say if I had a magic wish or something like that, I would actually say getting the right marketing, what do you call it, the right marketing flow, so that we know every time we use this amount of money, we get this amount of customers in that has this quality, so that we actually just could press a button and then everything could roll by itself. So I think that would be my wish if I could. So
Yeah, who doesn't want that? We want
yeah,
that for
exactly. But I think that's something that everybody who has a company and wants to be online is wishing for. But there's no wish like that, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm sure it can get done. So I'm sure other companies have done it in the past. So yeah, why not you and me can do it as well?
Yeah, of course. But what you also know is that when you want to be online, there are two major ones. It's Google and it's Facebook, and
Yeah,
you have to have a lot of money to do everything. So when you are a company like us, we have to split test everything to see, okay, which way are we going? So it takes a lot of money to get the right way. I don't think that the first time you try, you get it the right way. You have to try 100 times, and then maybe one time you're hitting it right, but the other 99 times you're not getting it right.
yeah. And also, I think you can get it right from the first time, but if you get it right from the first time, first of all, it's very hard to get it right from the first time. And second of all, you don't know why is it right. Why did you get it right? So you don't learn anything from it.
Exactly. And that's a problem, because when you have to make new advertising, then you actually don't know what you did right, and then you're making 99 wrongs before you get it right again.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, these are my questions. Now I have, maybe if you want to leave a thought to the audience, this is your moment to tell them anything, maybe to inspire them or whatever you think it's relevant.
Do you want a quote, or do you want me to
Just whatever comes to mind that you think the viewer would get like, okay, that's a really good advice or a really good thought.
Don't think too much about what other people thinks about you. You just have to keep on. Also, when it's hard and when nobody can see what you are seeing, just keep on.
Okay, thank you very much, Jakob. Thank you for joining the podcast and for sharing your knowledge with us. I believe it was a really interesting podcast. So yeah, I will see you guys, the viewers, in the next episode.